Country 102.5, Boston's #1 for new hit country. Kevin Kennedy live at Country Music Fest at Xfinity with none other than Michael Ray! Yeah! Okay, first of all, congratulations on Kiss You in the Morning.
Thank you, man.
We play it all the time on Country 102.5.
I heard it today.
Of course.
Yeah, we got in the rental car from the airport, and we were in the airport, and I was like, we turned it on, and it was right there.
Yeah, Michael's debut single and a top 20 hit, so congratulations
Thank
on
you,
that.
man.
Do you remember the first time you heard it on the radio?
Top 10 now.
I did. It is top 10 now.
Oh, top 10!
Yes.
Sorry. Oh, perfect timing. Top 10 hit.
Today.
Yeah, congratulations.
Thank you, man. Thank y'all for playing it, man. Yeah, I do actually remember. I was, oddly enough, back at home in Eustis, Florida, and was driving to meet my dad and my grandmother and a few others for breakfast, and one of the local stations down there played it. So it was the first time I ever heard it, and the first time I've ever heard myself just like in a rotation. You know, like just kind of popped up.
Is that true that one of the local DJs in Florida where you grew up, they saw you like perform at a club or something and asked you for a CD, and they just started throwing it in?
Yeah. So I was playing this place called Boots and Buckles in Lakeland, Florida.
Yeah.
And I went in there. Like, it was back when you had like press package, you know. So like I was just trying to play wherever you could.
Right.
And so I go in there like my press bag and like the picture and like the 10 fun facts about Michael, or whatever on the back, and just go in there, and I ended up meet with the owner, John, who now is a dear friend of mine.
Right.
And I was like, hey man, look, I just want to play here. I'll play for free. Like, I'm not trying to get money. I'll just try to exposure, whatever.
Exposure, yeah.
So he booked me. Well, oddly enough, a guy that I knew from my hometown was bartending there. I had no idea, and so he hooked me up. So John booked me, and then like middle of the show or right after the show, this lady comes up to me and she's like, "Hey, I'm with the station. Can I get one of your CDs?" You grew up listening, but you don't really know what anybody looks like when they're on the radio. So I was
you don't know what's behind it or who,
So I was like, okay. So I give her a CD, and then like 2 or 3 days later, my buddy Michael calls me and he's like, "Dude, you're on the radio." And I thought it was for like an advertisement,
Right.
But he goes, "No, man, like you, Chesney, and somebody
Yeah,
else."
I love you said right between Chesney and Jason Aldean.
Yes, that was it. Yeah.
That's not a bad place to be.
Yeah, that was great, man.
That's a great story. So you go to Nashville when you're 18, right?
Yeah.
And someone tells you, go back home and make a name for yourself, or else you're not going to make it here. You got to make your name for yourself and then come back. When that happens, are you like devastated and disappointed, or are you more motivated than ever to make this happen?
Well, nobody else would meet with us, so we didn't have anybody else to bounce. Yeah, we didn't have anybody else to bounce information off of. So I was just like, all right. And the guy that told me that is his name is David Preston. He works at he's over at BMI, and he was literally the only guy that would meet with us, me and my buddy. And so I went and played him songs, and I joked with him. I'm like, man, thank God you can look through like okay songs, because I know they weren't great songs, but he goes, man, you have something here. And he said, what you playing? And I said, well, I guess move, because I was just playing down in Florida, and nobody in my family ever moved to Nashville, so everybody in my family was still in Eustis, so nobody moved out there to try to chase anything. And so he told me that. He goes, man, he said, don't move. He said, go down there and just try to create something that's massive, down there, and then move, because the way the music industry is, it's going to change. And looking back now, I mean, it's like he was looking at a crystal ball, and it changed my life. If I wouldn't have done that, I don't know where I'd be.
I mean, it's crazy, in hindsight, because at the time you had to be a little disappointed. You were ready to be in Nashville.
Yeah.
But it was the best thing ever, because you started selling out clubs as a headliner in Florida. You got your song on the radio. Between Chesney and Aldean, as you say, and now here you are. And when you were younger, you got into music because your family had a band, the Country Cousins, right?
Yeah.
So when you were 4 or 5, you were on stage with them, and they're playing country music, and you got a flavor for that really from the beginning.
Yeah. They were playing a lot of the classic country stuff, that's what I grew up on. Was Earl Thomas Conley, Porter Wagner, Bobby Bare, Haggard, Waylon, Loretta Lynn, Patsy Cline. Those are my first influences. And and the band, the reason why it was called that is because my band, the band was my dad sang lead, my grandfather played lead, my uncle played bass, cousin played drums, and 2 other cousins sang harmony and played guitar as well. So it was literally a group full of cousins.
Right.
that was in
exactly.
And so, yeah, man. And then they kind of dispersed from family and work, and then my grandfather continued to play. And so about 9, man, I was playing 2 to 3, 4 days a week. With my grandfather playing assisted living homes like VFWs or American Legion type places, So
anyone who would listen.
Anybody.
And your grandfather taught you to play guitar, and I know you lost him earlier this year, right?
Yeah.
And
February 4th.
I'm so sorry to hear about that, but it was really touching because during your Opry debut, which was that in April?
It was April 24th.
Yeah.
Yep.
you used his guitar on stage because that was kind of a dream you guys shared together, right? To make it onto the stage of the Opry.
Yeah, whenever I was, like I said, growing up, I had such influences from the classic country,
Sure.
men and women, and so a lot of them were Opry members, and I grew up watching a lot of skits of Minnie Pearl and Grandpa Jones and String Bean, and all those guys that on the Opry, and so the plan was, if I ever did get the opportunity to be able to play the Opry, he would be there with me, and fate dealt a different hand. He was there, but not physically there with us. But so I thought what other way to honor him, the patriarch of my family, the man, my best friend, and then to on the biggest stage bring out his guitar that he played for 50 years. He played it for any picture that I've ever seen him on stage was with that guitar. So it was like at least that made it with us.
And there you are on the stage at the Opry with that very guitar. And I know your family's super excited about everything that's happening for you. And I know your grandfather, as you said before, he's watching down. He's right here with you.
Yeah.
And I love when you tweeted a pic on Wednesday. You were back at the Opry in Nashville, and you said, "Honored to be back in the circle tonight." And we are honored to have you here at Country Music Fest. Michael Ray is going to be hitting the side stage at 4:45 here at Xfinity, and then in August we're looking for your first album.
Yes, sir.
Just called Michael Ray, right?
Yeah, man.
Introducing Michael Ray, the very first album. We can't wait to hear everything from that. But seriously, congratulations on all the success. We're excited for you, and thanks for being here, Michael Ray.
Thank
everybody,
you, buddy.
Yeah. Country 102.5 live from Xfinity, the Country 102.5 Country Music Fest.